Hey everyone, welcome back to Objective Reviews. My name's Nick and today we are going to be taking a look at the iPhone XR Product Red Edition. And the box itself looks very cool with that glossy red Apple logo. Now the unboxing experience of this is pretty same to every other iPhone X, XS or XR, except that you get this extra card which says Product Red on the front and it looks really cool. I really love this red that they have, which kind of gets glossy, and some extra little bit of information on the back on how you're supporting. Well, I just quickly read it out to you. In partnership with Red, Apple will contribute a portion of your iPhone purchase to the Global Fund to support HIV/AIDS programs and help deliver an AIDS-free generation. Learn more or donate at www.red.org. Now, that is a very cool thing that Apple does with a lot of their products. I believe it started with the iPod, and it has just trickled down the generations. So that's really cool. If you can, and if you love a red iPhone, definitely do check it out. So here's how it looks. And right off the bat, the glossy red really stands out. And I'm so glad Apple has put a black face around this time, where in contrast, every previous generation of Product Red iPhones used to have a white face and a red back. And that, in my personal opinion, looked really ugly, but this time they finally gotten it right with a black face and it looks absolutely gorgeous. You have the same volume rockers on one side with a silent switch and the power button on the other side. So more or less this looks like every other iPhone XR but in red. So let's talk about the iPhone XR then. Well, you have a big beautiful LED display, the liquid retina display as Apple calls it, and this is actually a very good display. To my eye, the saturation levels between this and the display of the 10 or the XS are almost the same. However, if you have been using a iPhone X or XS, you'll notice the difference in contrast levels and overall brightness of the display. The display of the XR is noticeably less brighter compared to the OLED ones. So if that is something that might drive you off to the other side, well, you should take note of this. But if you are upgrading from an iPhone 6, 7 or 8 to the XR, you'll feel just at home and the display will actually look a lot more saturated. The colors are much more vivid and feel natural to the eye. So a quick look at the differences between the displays of the iPhone XR and the X. Well, you can notice in this particular photo that the iPhone X does noticeably render the blacks a lot more deeper, darker. Whereas on the iPhone XR, you can notice that the blacks aren't getting all the way down. So the shadows are kind of squashed into the mid-tone shadows and it looks kind of ugly if you are used to OLEDs. But if you aren't, well, this will look just fine for you, and that is perfectly okay. Now, I've seen a lot of debate around the bezels of the iPhone XR being a lot more thicker compared to the iPhone X or XS, and this is kind of expected when you are utilizing a LED display. The bezels do need to be thicker. However, do note that over time, just within a few days, your eyes start subtracting this information, your brain starts processing it slightly differently, and your brain kind of gives you a vision where the bezels don't seem to matter anymore, where you're simply focused on the display. So in my personal opinion, people are making it out to be a bigger deal than it is actually. It's actually nothing to be focused on at all. If you are going to be using this device, you are most likely going to start slowly developing a habit where you completely ignore the bezel because you are focusing on the content. And boy, oh boy, is this display excellent for content, because the huge display makes it really excellent for gaming as well, paired with that big battery which can last for days. Oh my god. So I've been using this phone for a week, and what I have noticed is simply mind-bending. Because this phone uses a 2x resolution in contrast to the 3x resolution of the iPhone XS and X, you get a slightly longer battery life as well as a longer standby time. Now this works very well in case you are buying this phone for gaming, because games on it run really well. Now I know you are expecting me to show you some Fortnite footage, but that's not what I've been playing. I've been playing Implosion on this, and here is my cousin playing Implosion on this, and he was completely immersed into the game, and I believe he was playing that for a good 45 minutes. I just gave him the phone to try out the game on that phone, and he was completely immersed into it. He had no idea when I took this footage. I did show it to him later on after he was done, and he gave me a thumbs up on publishing it. So that's all cool. We're good. We're good. So if you haven't watched my video on the XS and XS Max where I also compare it to the iPhone X, well, you can go check it out here. There's a section in there where I recommend who should be buying this phone if you're upgrading from a earlier iPhone or something else. And I'll just quickly revise it over here. If you are coming from a lower budget or mid-tier phone, or if you are coming from an iPhone 6, 6S or 7 and you are looking to upgrade to the iPhone X, it is a definite bang for your buck. However, if you're coming from an iPhone 8 or 10, I really cannot recommend upgrading to this yet, because the next generation is going to be pretty similar to this, although it will give you a higher performance bump. What you do need to remember is that this phone costs a pretty penny, and that you should be able to get the full worth of every dollar you spend on it. So if you're an existing owner of the iPhone 8, 8 Plus or 10, you can completely skip this one unless you really want to get on it. But if you really do have to, I would still recommend getting the iPhone XS. Unless you love portrait photos. Now here's a shot of the back panel of the phone. As you can see, there's a single lens. There's no second lens to give the A12 chip the real-time depth data. So what the A12 chip does is construct this depth data on its own using machine learning, and it gives you these beautiful portrait images. Here's the catch. If you compare this is the field of view for the iPhone X or the XS. And this is the field of view for the iPhone XR. As you can notice, it's a lot more wider, and here are the two of them side by side. So you get a wider field of view with portrait effect. Now, if for this very singular reason, I don't know why this is not available on the iPhone X and XS. This should be an option in the camera app, which people should be able to use. Unfortunately, this is limited to the iPhone XR, and these photos look so much better compared to the iPhone X and XS. So Apple, please give us the option to enable this on our iPhone X and XS. I mean, it's okay if this is not technically feasible on the iPhone X, but at least give it to the users of the XS and XS Max. Apart from that, here are a quick bunch of shots as usual from the iPhone XR. So we can see a similar trend between the iPhone XR and XS, where the images are slightly cooler compared to every previous generation of the iPhones, where they used to be more warmer or more lifelike. And this trend continues into people, objects, and just random landscape photos. And here is a sample of video with stereo sound on. So stereo sound is really cool, and I would highly recommend that you leave this setting on, especially if you're shooting videos of, just your family and there are a lot of people and there are pets involved. You should definitely leave this setting on. Another thing you'll notice is that the iPhone XR for some reason focuses a lot faster compared to the iPhone XS and X. Now I don't know if this has something to do with the sensor and how the signal from the sensor is processed by the ISP, but this does definitely focus a lot smoother and a lot faster. There is no jerking between the focusing, as you can see, and it just is very smooth. So let's do a quick checklist here. You have a great camera with a great portrait effect setting. You have a great display, of which people have made a big deal out of the bezels. You have the same 326 ppi, which people have also made a huge deal about, but is not really a big deal at all. You have great color choices to choose from, which is just really cool, because you get to personalize this, the phone, and if you want to slap a case on it or a sticker on it, you can go ahead and do that. So you can customize this to your personal preference to a greater deal compared to just the white or black options on the X and XS. and you have a longer battery life thanks to the 2x resolution of the display. So considering all of this, this is a very, very good package for people who are upgrading from a low to mid-tier phones or from iPhones like the 6, 6S and 7. This is a fantastic option. So will I recommend it? Heck yeah, I will absolutely recommend it. Now, I try to do a lot of unbiased reviews on this channel, but hence the name. Everything needs to be objective, but I will be honest with you, I cannot be very objective and unbiased in this very moment. This phone is absolutely fantastic and it has blown my mind. If I had not upgraded to the iPhone 10 last year, this is the phone I would have gotten instead of the 10s, no doubt. Unfortunately, OLED screens have spoilt me now and I cannot go back to a LED screen. So if you have a phone with a OLED screen, you're not going to be enjoying using this phone. However, if you have a phone that has an LED screen, you will fall in love with this display. You will absolutely love it. I will leave you on that. And if you want links for buying this phone in your local Amazon stores, I'll have them down in the description. You can go check them out to explore all the color options you have. They're really, really cool. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, let me know in the comments what you disliked about the video. And if you're new around here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.